waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Serving overseas was just the beginning. We might be home from war, but our mission continues in communities all across the country. It's why we're out there in times of peace and crisis, providing meals to the hungry and supplies to the sick. It's why we're giving strength to those who are too weak and bringing resources to those without them. Service doesn't stop when we're done serving. It's what makes us the VFW. Learn more at vfw.org.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. I'm Scott Traylor, along with my partner Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. We got the producers all working hard today. Todd and Austin are here at Racing Boys and back at the 810 studios. Is Blake back there today? Is that right? Blake, you back there, buddy?
Yes, sir. You know it.
All right, man. It's good to have you on board as usual. Always
the
does
whole
a great
crew. And Austin had to drive back from I-80 Speedway last night in the middle of the night to make.
Kirk, I was going to lead into that, but you just kind of wheeled me right there. So
well,
he just kind of jumped. He just kind of come up there and fed me a right rear. Did you see that, Austin? How he did that?
Yeah.
I'm opening the show. I'm setting up the topics. And then what's he do? He throws a right rear at me.
Well, that's what I do. Throw right rears at you.
Well, then I'm going to start throwing them
out of the way.
I'm going to start throwing them back then. Last night was a good night for our boy Austin O'Neill. Austin, you were up at I-80 Speedway last night. The car count wasn't as great as we thought it would be up there, but nevertheless, you got a fourth place finish. That was a good run for you last night.
Yeah, it sucked that the car count was down to 13 or 14, but you look at the races kind of in the region. You had Sprint Invaders and Donaldson, then you had Creek, and then you had a MOA show at Tri-City. So It really kind of spread out the car count. And whenever they run 360s at I-80, they usually get 25. But the 13 cars that we had there were really good, and it was, not a bad night for us.
Did they run 305s up there last night, too?
No, it was just, it was IMCA modifieds, IMCA stock cars, sport compacts.
No 305s.
360s, and late models.
I've never seen them run 305s at I-80.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think the car count was a little low up there last night? 13, 14 cars. Why do you think that was? Because, I figured they were going to have 20, 25,
I believe
30 cars.
that the Sprint Invader race paid a little more. It paid $1,500 to win at I-80, and I believe Sprint Invaders, I think, paid $2 or a little over $2.
Where did they race?
That was at Donaldson.
Yeah, Lee County Speedway. It's on the east side of
I'm talking
Iowa.
to him, Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk is really bad about just jumping in the middle of a sentence when two people are talking.
It was at Donaldson.
Yeah, well, that's what he was telling me.
Because you see teams like, both McCarls, Terry and Carson, usually come to I-80. Both Chris and Cam Martin come.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ball makes an appearance every once in a while. And you have certain guys that are kind of your Knoxville cars that end up going to Donaldson instead of I-80. So, but anytime you can race against Jack Dover, Jason Martin, Adam Goulian.
Great talent up there last night.
You can't.
Seth Bramer was up there, right?
Yeah, they race up there full time, or whenever they race 360, I think it's every other week.
Stuart Snyder's no cakewalk.
No, and it's to show up to. I haven't been on a half mile in 2 years, especially one that big where the air was. That is as that effective on a car that it is anywhere else.
Did you flat-foot it around there?
Of course. I mean, I'm running wide open at the lake. So
if you lift up there, you're going to get left behind, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you break momentum once, you're done. That's like in the heat race. I was racing Adam Goulian, and I got by him for second. And he kind of crossed me back off of 4, and he was going to go run the bottom, so I committed back to the top, and he moved up right at the last second, and it took the air off my nose. I had to lift just a little bit to keep the nose down, and that was went from being 1 car length behind him to 5 to 6, and it ended my run.
That's how long it takes. Just one little lift out of the gas, and that's all it takes.
Burp
you lose that momentum, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how effective.
So that was your first time at I-80. What'd you think about it?
It was a lot of fun. It was, in hot laps, the track was kind of narrow, and you roll out for the heat race, and the track was only about half the track wide, and 2 lanes off the little bit of a cushion that it had. It was slick, and it was a ton of moisture around the guardrail on the bottom, and the sprint cars got locked down there, and I didn't know if it would blow off fast enough for the features, and they ran a couple late model prelim events along with other modified stock car races, and it helped blow it off, and actually went from being half track wide up to the fence, and when we got out there for the feature, we could run the bottom for a couple laps, and then it got really dirty and blown off, and we'd all pretty much committed, besides Adam Goulian, to run the top. He stayed on the bottom the entire race, and it kind of took patchy rubber coming off of 2 down the back stretch and coming off of 4, but I mean, it was
never rubbered up all the way.
Not all the way, but if you
just
hit it,
patches.
Yeah, it was. I mean, besides the rubber, I mean, it didn't hurt tires that bad. I could probably still run my right rear again. My left rear is pretty much junk, but I mean, I made pretty good money if they don't cut the purse. But I mean, I can't believe, all the races that we go to, we don't really have a big crowd, after the races. And I got done racing at 10 o'clock. I didn't leave the track until 12 o'clock. Just signing autographs, selling shirts. I mean, we had a couple people talk to me about, listening to our Mostly Motorsports show Monday through Friday that got to see me race, and it was just cool to see all those people up there and sell some T-shirts to a crowd that I usually don't race in front of.
Yeah, you did good on T-shirt sales.
You're getting famous, Austin.
Yeah, right on. So you had some people come by and say they listen to the show daily up there.
Yeah,
huh?
they said they enjoyed it, and it's always nice to hear people that get to listen to us that we get to see as we travel across the country.
Right. I want to say also Kelly is tuning in from Central Point, Oregon. She says good morning to us. Good morning, Kelly.
How about that?
Yeah.
What happened to Jack Dober? He won the other heat race beside Jason Martin. What happened to him?
So Jack got a really good start, and he kind of checked out. I got shuffled back and was running 6, and I really couldn't see Jack. But we had a yellow about halfway through, and there was a Nerf bar sticking out in the track on the bottom, getting into 1, and we rolled back around and lined the field up, and Jack wasn't there. So I'm assuming Jack cut a right rear, and when he cut the right rear, exploded and knocked the Nerf bar off, and maybe it might have got a sideboard. I didn't go down to his pit and see what happened, but I'm pretty sure he had a tire let go.
Yeah. We also had some action up at US 36 last night, Kirk, didn't we?
Yeah, Wesley Smith, the big winner in the Budweiser shootout.
How many cars did they have?
I think they had a pretty good turnout. I'll check and see what the car count was. But Jason Martin.
I would think they would have had a good turnout last night.
Jason Martin, we talked about up at I-80 Speedway, but last night Wesley Smith was the big winner. We don't have a press release posted on that yet because we haven't gotten one yet. So we'll get that posted when we can.
We haven't received one yet?
Have not received one as of yet.
Right.
We'll get that posted here in a little bit and get you the details on that. But Wesley Smith, the big winner of the Budweiser shootout at US 36 Raceway.
All right. And Carson Macedo with the JJR team picked up the win at River Cities last night. That was his 5th World of Outlaw win this season. Did you guys get a chance to watch any of that, Kirk? Did you watch some of that?
I did watch that. And Macedo lapped up to the 9th place car last night.
Yeah.
I mean, that track is a short, that's a bull ring. That's a short racetrack. They qualifying in the 9-second range at River City Speedway last night, and it didn't take very long for the leaders to get into lap traffic at the start of that race last night. But
here's what some of the guys that were running in the lap traffic said. They couldn't believe how far off the pace the guys at the back of the field were.
Yeah, a lot of local guys.
A lot of local guys, and there was quite a bit of complaining about how slow the back half of the field were, and they didn't know how to run with them because they hadn't ran with them before. And so, but the top three all said that about the lap cars there at the end. And they started lapping cars. If you notice, they started lapping cars like on the third or fourth lap.
Yeah, it's like 2-3 laps.
Yeah.
Logan Schuart was the early leader of that race. And then later on, after Macedo had got past him, Schuart was bouncing around coming off turn number 2, and some rough spot up there, and up and over he went. They got that car back out on the racetrack. And, of course, you restart at the tail of the longest at the lead lap cars, which was 9th. And he was able to work his way back up to 6th before the end of that. But Schuart had a strong car early on, but it was all about Carson Macedo last night.
And for the people watching online, they're watching some of the highlights from last night at River City Speedway. A great little racetrack. It had a lot of good stuff going on. But I'm going to tell you where I think Carson Macedo really beat everybody last night. Even Johnny Gibson said it in his post-race, or at one point during the broadcast, maybe. He said that Carson Macedo was being very aggressive with the lap cars. And I think that was the difference between Carson Macedo winning and Brad Sweet catching him and trying to run him down. Donnie Schatz ran second there for quite a bit.
Yeah, and then Brad Sweet able to get around him last night, so that's about as good a finish we've seen out of Brad Sweet for a while.
Yeah.
But what was weird is seeing Sheldon Hodenshield, who'd been the hottest driver. He won the last 2 races, 5-time winner this year. He got lapped early on and ended up in 13th, so that was kind of strange to see Sheldon not have such a great night.
Well, and then Devin Moran. You know, it's kind of crazy because I was looking at the points last night before the race. I cannot believe that Devin Moran is 10th in points.
He hasn't run all the races.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, he wasn't at Lucas Oil Speedway last weekend. He didn't race the Show Me 100, so that's an example right there. He just hasn't been to all the races.
Right. Well, anyway, he picked up the win at West Virginia Motor Speedway last night. And he did it in pretty dominating fashion. He just kind of checked out on him. He was the class of the field last night. Not really many cars had anything for him.
Well, other than Jonathan Davenport, maybe.
Well, Jonathan Davenport, he was the only guy that had something for him.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't muster it up there at the end. I think even in the post-race interview, you heard Davenport say that he was faster than he was.
Yeah. And Davenport had grabbed the lead from Moran and seemingly was pulling away until Moran chased him back down and passed him pretty easily in lap traffic and then pulled away at the end.
Devin Moran said that at Lucas Oil Speedway they had a distributor problem. And then last night they were having some engine problems. And I don't know if they switched the motor out from Lucas Oil Speedway to this week, but he mentioned that they had to change motors, and I thought they had to do it down in the pits during the races last night.
Bobby Pierce.
Bobby Pierce. Yeah. What did I say?
Devin Moran.
Bobby
Devin Moran.
Pierce, the
Bobby
winner
Pierce.
at Tri-City Speedway last night, and this is the World of Outlaw late models at Tri-City Speedway last night.
But I think he changed that motor last night.
No, from what I heard in the post-race, it was after Lucas, and they worked overnight like it was maybe the night before the race.
Right, exactly.
Oh, the night before the race.
The night before. Overnight engine
So maybe
change.
they realized they had a bigger issue with the motor then.
That was it.
But they did change the motor. Yeah.
Pierce was strong last night. He does pretty well at that racetrack. He's got a lot of laps at Tri-City Speedway, and he showed it last night.
Aren't you a little shocked that Devin Moran isn't going to race for points? You know,
doesn't make sense to.
He's doing like a lot of drivers, going for the money.
There's too much money involved in the late model series, right? To be honest with you, late model racing is paying much better than sprint car racing right now. Would you agree with me on that, Austin?
I would hate to, but I have to.
It's the truth, though, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, there's XR, Lucas Oil, the Outlaws. I bet you there's probably one more.
XR.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 4 good touring series that pay really good money.
Yeah.
And you go to lock into one of them, and they don't allow you to go run any special races like this. And anytime you can just step out and do your own deal and be a true outlaw,
Right.
And you can make more money. Look at Mike Marlar. He's not running for any points right now, and he's was it over $100,000 he's won so far this year?
Yeah, no doubt.
Another good run for Ryan Gustin. Third place finish last night after he won the local late model feature on Thursday night, $5,000 to win. That was not a sanctioned event on Thursday night, and that's after he won at Sharon Speedway last weekend. So Ryan Gustin is doing pretty well here lately. Kyle Larson ends up in 6th in last night's feature event after Thursday night's. You say he got it, that's his fault. He got up into the wall and caused his own problem while leading that race on Thursday night, but last night Kyle ended up in 6th place.
Right. I wanted to mention that Jonathan Davenport, he took the lead in that race a bit. Yeah.
He took it away from Devin Moran.
And it looked like he was going to run away with the race there for a minute.
he had a healthy lead, and then
Big
here
lead.
comes Moran. He runs him down.
Right. Hey, did you know our boy Mike Muller had back issues? Did you hear that? I thought it was a foot issue, but John, they kept saying on the broadcast last night that it was a back issue.
I think it was multiple issues from that incident down there at Lucas Oil Speedway where he had a scratch from the event after Friday night's rough racetrack. He had that heavy damage to the floorboard came up into the floorboard of the car and his feet and back and all kinds of injury. It was good to see Mike back out on the racetrack, but he took a hard hit down at Lucas Oil Speedway last week.
Devin Moran ended up taking the lead because of the lap traffic. That's where it really helped him. So that's where he ended up winning that race. And I thought he won by about 4 or 5 car lengths at the end of that race.
Yeah, he pulled away once he got back out in front. He just checked out from there.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the All-Stars last night, Kirk.
What a race that was.
Man, oh man.
Zeb Wise and Corey Eliason going at it.
Was that maybe the race of the night?
Yeah, that was entertaining as heck.
I mean, for me, watching the 10 and the 26 slice it up, slide job city all over the place, they were just doing the back and forth. How many laps they do that for, Kirk? At least 5 or 6 laps, didn't they?
Yeah, at least. I was thinking more like 10 laps or so they were back and forth.
Man, that was a great race there last night between Zeb Weiss and Corey Eliason. Hunter Schoenberg couldn't get up there quite. He was close to him, but he couldn't get enough pressure on him to be a player in the race. But the 26 car of Corey Eliason and the 10 car of Zeb Weiss, those guys put on a hell of a show. Did you see any of that, Austin? Did you watch any of it? You didn't watch any replays on your way home?
No, because we were watching Tri-City. We watched Tri-City all night. Yeah. We watched the other track take rubber.
Yeah.
From a big crowd.
Yeah. Big, giant crowd there.
I like Tri-City. It's one of my favorite tracks to go race at. But, you'd think that with them having NASCAR there this weekend and, these two big events. Yeah, you try to leave a good impression. And, I mean, with the Gundakers, they know what they're doing for track prep, and they tried a little bit during the intermission break. But why didn't we just get a full rework? The little rework wasn't going to last as long as a full rework.
I'm going to answer this question for you.
Go for it.
Because these people that are preparing these racetracks, they got to buy that fuel at $5-6 a gallon, and they're not willing to go out there and burn up the fuel to have a good racetrack. I think that's part of it.
Well, then they won't have any cars come back.
Listen,
I know.
I'm not arguing with you.
I know you're not.
But I'm just saying that I think that they look at it financially. Is this enough to make or break me when it comes to buying the fuel to run the equipment to prep the track? I think there's a little bit
of some of it has to do with the weather condition. We got a lot of rain at just about everywhere, and they're trying to pack these racetracks tight because it's rough there's a lot of moisture underneath.
When you have an event like that event on a Cup weekend in your city, you need to do whatever you can to have a good racetrack. You agree with me, right, Austin?
They normally do a pretty good job. The Gundakers normally do a very good job of
also too.
We're talking about it rubbered up last night.
It did, but so did a lot of racetracks rubber up last night. That wasn't the only one.
Also, too, you raced
Kirk
the night before.
Kirk is getting really sensitive this morning, isn't he?
No, that wasn't the only track that rubbered up last night.
Really sensitive.
I'm just trying to cut some of these operators some slack based on the weather conditions. We've had a lot of rain here in the last couple of months, it's been tough to get these tracks right.
What do you do for the fans that are in the grandstands?
Do your best.
Hold on a second. Let me finish, would you, before you step on me, all right? Just let me finish. What do you do about those fans in the grandstands paid $45 for a ticket up there? You want to give them a rubber down race that doesn't look good? It's not exciting for the fans, or do you want to give them a good race where they go and they watch a great race and they say, you know what, I'm coming back here next year? What does you more good for the future than that night? Tell me, Kirk. Isn't it better to have a good racetrack and let the fans see a great race versus a rubber down racetrack? Yes or no?
Nobody wants to say. Yes. I mean, nobody wants to see a rubber down racetrack. All I'm saying is it's been pretty challenging situations for these track operators to get these racetracks right with all the rain that we've had.
And on top of the rubber down racetrack, how about the teams that got to burn up the tires on a rubber down racetrack? Yeah. $335 for a rear tire right now. How many of those do you want to burn up in a night?
Hey, but
you're not spending the money on those tires.
Kevin Gundaker is as upset about a rubber down racetrack as anybody. So I mean, it's tough working these racetracks.
Well, I don't know if that worked it well enough though.
So Ayrton Jennington called me last night on the way home, and he went and ran the MOA show at Tri-City.
Yep.
And he was during intermission, during the track rework, he was talking to Tammy, and he was expressing his concerns about doing a full rework and not just do the half rework, and that it wouldn't last and blow off. And she said, "Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be good enough.
That's what Tammy said.
That's what Tammy said, and it didn't work. So
right.
They put a lot of cars. The thing about Tri-City and a lot of places, they run a lot of classes. They put a lot of cars on the racetrack. Ordinary circumstances, a late model division plus maybe a support class is enough cars to put on a racetrack in one night, but they like to run a lot of different classes at Tri-City. Last night they had the Wing 410 sprint cars.
Then get rid of some of the classes, Kirk.
There you go. That's the answer. Jake Newman, by the way, won that MOA sprint car feature last night over Zach Dobb. Ayrton Jennington finished in third place. Kyle Steffen winning the modified feature. Lots of race cars on a racetrack. It's going to rubber down.
Are we going to play one of these sound bites when we come back? Which one is it? What are we going to play?
Chris
Ferguson.
Chris Ferguson, the winner of the Show Me 100. We're going to play a little sound bite from our show, Mostly Motorsports. He was on it this week, and that airs every Monday through Friday at 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. It's called Mostly Motorsports. It's myself and Austin O'Neill, and it's Monday through Friday at 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it right here on RBN. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Chris Ferguson, sound from him, the winner of the Show Me 100.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Dust off your cooker and fire up the grill for summer. Missing a few items to get your cook started? Well, head over to the Kansas City Barbecue Store, 119th and Strangline in Olathe. You can stock up on all your grilling supplies, name brand cookers, pellets, probes, knives, sauces, rubs, and competition quality meats are always in stock at the Kansas City Barbecue Store. Don't be afraid to go big on the grill this summer. Go see Dan and the team at the Kansas City Barbecue Store today.
A new Buick or GMC has a 90-day money-back guarantee at Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC. Shop their selection with a special allocation of the redesigned 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. All power, all luxury, and the coolest tailgate on the planet. And with the 90-day money-back guarantee, it's a Brogdon Best Buy. Visit robertbrogdon.com or find them at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. GMC, we are professional grade. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
Enjoy your weekend with great savings from the Butcher Block at your neighborhood henhouse market. Certified USDA Choice Hereford Beef Ribeye Steaks, Boneless, 12 ounces, just $10 each or $12.99 a pound. Fresh 85% lean ground beef, ground fresh several times each day, only $4.59 a pound. St. Louis style ribs, they're sold in cryovac, just $3.99 a pound. And if your mouth is watering for seafood, Seabest Easy Peel Red Argentine Shrimp, only $7.99 a pound. See all these specials and much more at henhouse.com. Henhouse, family owned and operated since 1923.
30 seconds.
Major League Baseball. This weekend on ESPN Radio.
Gone! Paul Goldschmidt goes yard, deep to left field.
One of baseball's fiercest rivalries begins their 2022 chapter when Paul Goldschmidt and the St. Louis Cardinals head to Wrigley Field to face the Chicago Cubs. The Cardinals and Cubs.
Coverage begins Saturday at noon on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Hour number 1. Don't forget, hour number 2 is exclusively online. You can watch it on our Facebook page. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Twitter. Watch it on racingboys.com. So come and join us. Hour number 2. It's a little bit different of a show, hour number 2. We loosen up a little bit, hour number 2. But, we got to be professionals here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kirk is the professional of the two. I got to read a little post here quickly by Nina Jeniton. And if you don't know who Nina is, she's the widow of Gene Jeniton, one of the all-time greatest drivers ever driven around this area here in the Kansas City area. She said, too damn many classes. Fans don't like sitting there all night. Also don't like watching follow the leader races. I'm with you, Nina. I agree with you 100%.
Can't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, right.
We all agree on that one. That's for sure.
And Pete says Backgate is unfortunately a financial necessity for too many tracks, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Too many racetracks try to work off the Backgate.
They're Backgate operators.
Yeah,
no doubt. The more cars, the
but
more
they
pit
had
passes you sell.
Listen, they had a huge crowd down there at Tri-City last night.
Monster crowd.
Big crowd. Both Thursday night and last night. So right.
And they'll do it again tonight, I'm sure. Well, Chris Ferguson is the big winner of the Show Me 100. By the way, what a spectacular night of racing at Lucas Oil Speedway last Saturday night. I had a great time down there.
8,000 people.
Biggest crowd I've ever seen.
They said in their press release 8,000 people were there.
I don't doubt that a bit. But it had that big event feel, and it was great to be there.
It's Lucas Oil Speedway.
It's a diamond and dirt tracks. And they had the racetrack in really good shape on Saturday night, too, after that rough track on Friday night. So great racing all the way around. And Chris Ferguson is the big winner, $50,000. And Scott Traylor spoke with Chris Ferguson on Mostly Motorsports here a couple of days ago, and here's a portion of that conversation.
Big payday there last weekend, man. That always feels good to put that kind of cash in your pocket, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%, man. I'm just very, very thankful to be in the situation and win that race and really just kind of have that moment in my career where I finally grab a big crown jewel,
Yeah, man. There's not many of those kind of races that pay that kind of money. Talk about your thoughts going into that race. I know that you had a little luck along the way, but just kind of take us through that Show Me 100 race and just give us your thought process as you were racing through that deal.
Well, 100-lap races nowadays, they're really there's two ways you can approach them. You can really, go all out and kind of live and die by driving hard and fast, or and the way I've kind of raced them the last few years, where I've actually had a little bit of success. Kind of be slow and steady and methodical. And I knew starting 10th, I was going to have a little bit of work to do, but 100 laps is plenty of time,
right?
Especially when you have a good race car. So I really took my time the first half of the race. A couple guys got by me, Bobby Pierce, Ricky Thornton. And it wasn't like they just drove around me. It's just they kind of got up on the fence and ripped around on the cushion and something that I just wasn't comfortable with doing the first half of the race. So, but I was able to maintain. And then as soon as the top gave away and you really had to start racing on the bottom 3/4 of the track, that's whenever we just started picking them off, and then slowly but surely worked our way up and got to third, second, and then took the lead there with about 12 to go. And then the last 12 laps, put 3 seconds on them. So it was really methodical, but a lot of fun in the driver's seat.
Yeah. What did you feel about Jonathan Davenport and his issue that he had there? Did you feel that you had enough for him?
Well, in my opinion, what he did wasn't dirty.
Yeah.
It was, we were just kind of going for the win there. And truth be told, I ran third to Chris Madden and him at Charlotte at a 50,000 win show literally a month ago. And Chris did the same thing. Chris kind of passed him with 5 laps to go or so. And you hate to lose them like that, but it happens. Yeah. And, I think Jonathan was just desperate to win. And, with him, he got held up behind the lap car.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that the lap car was doing anything wrong. It's just, I think JD kind of got a little bit complacent running the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the first one that kind of, eased out there around the middle, and I found a line, and I was able to get to him without showing it to him, and then take advantage. And then, we got going down the backstretch there, and I don't know, I knew I was past him out of 2, so I knew going into 3 I had the position. But, after listening to the interview and everything, and listening to what JD had to say, and, I think he was just trying to wreck the lap car to get a spot back because they revert back to the last lap, and
yeah,
it didn't pan out. And fortunately, I didn't get crashed in it, so that would have been a real bummer if we would have got wrecked. But
yeah,
it all worked out pretty good.
Man, the world of dirt late model racing is so crazy right now with all these big money races. I was going through the points. I don't see you running for points anywhere. Are you just going to chase the dollar this year? Is that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much all we've done. We've unloaded for a few races that are the smallest race we've unloaded for is roughly 10,000, but like the other ones have been all 50s and 25s, and just kind of running an independent schedule. I've only raced 14 races this year, so we've won 2 50,000s and ran second and third in some 50s, and won more money than I ever have in my entire career just by running good at the right time. So
yeah,
it just makes sense to chase the money,
There you have it. That's Chris Ferguson on Mostly Motorsports. Again, you can listen to Mostly Motorsports at 12 noon Central Time, Monday through Friday. It's myself and producer Austin O'Neill. We just talk about anything, to be honest with you. We don't always talk about motorsports, though. Sometimes we get a little off track. That's why it's called Mostly Motorsports. But a nice job by Chris Ferguson, and Danny Lorton did a good job with the track down there that week, didn't he?
Yeah, Saturday night. Friday night, it was just, it was about
rugged.
As rough as rugged was, that might be the understatement.
But they rallied back, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Saturday night was a great racetrack.
Yeah.
And, it was hats off to the crew down there at Lucas Oil Speedway for rallying back, recovering from that rough track on Friday night to put together a great show on Saturday night.
I want to say hey to Jerome, who's listening from South Dakota right now this morning. We got people all over the country that listen to the show each and every morning. We got a lot of people out on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey that listen to the show each and every day, and we want to thank each and every one of them. Darren Bennett, he just texted me, and he told me that, here, let me just read it to you, what he said. Darren Bennett said, "I will burn the fuel if needed to have a good racetrack for the racers."
Yeah. Sure.
So
Absolutely.
he's a guy that says that he'll burn the fuel. But I'm not sure everybody's in the same position.
You know people for a fact that would be that way?
I know for a fact that some people don't go out and work the track when they should. I know that for a fact. Do you agree with me on that, Austin? Austin, how many times have you seen a track that needs to be reworked and nobody go out and touch it? Have you seen that?
Oh, my God.
How
too
many times? Too many times, right?
Yeah. I mean,
did they rework I-80 this weekend?
They did not. They went out there with like the big interrogator and added a little water to it.
Yeah.
They didn't rework it. I didn't think it needed to be reworked. The only thing that really affected I-80's
was there a lot of moisture in it?
No. What really got the sprint cars is I think if the sprint cars ran first, it wouldn't be an issue. But we had, I don't know why, but they had so many prelim events for the late models, and they ran on the track probably 3 times between my heat race and my feature. And, two big tire classes are really going to, air it out and dry it out. And I think if they could have spread us out, a little more throughout the running order, it wouldn't be as bad. But no, they didn't. They didn't do a whole lot to it.
Right.
Well, Steve Kosiski does a great job with that racetrack up there.
Yeah.
Normally. So.
Last night down at Creek County, I thought for sure that Blake Hahn was going to win that race, and it looked like he was on his way to winning that race. It looked like he had more speed in his car than Wayne Johnson did, but unfortunately a mistake down in 1 and 2 cost him a lot of track.
Slid off the track, didn't it?
It cost him a lot of track position, and he had to get back around Shebester to get back up into second place. That took him a little bit. But then right at the end of the race, he made a great run towards Wayne Johnson, but then a lap car fell in between him and Wayne, and that sealed the deal for Wayne, and he went on to win the race.
And Wayne did not make any mistakes.
Well, I don't know if he made any mistakes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He looked pretty solid. I watched that whole race there. He looked pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
And starting on the front row, that's going to help.
But I'll say this. I don't think the fastest car won. I'll say that.
Sometimes the fastest car don't always win.
No kidding, Kurt.
No kidding.
Really.
That's the way it works.
Like I've never known that in my whole life. The fastest car doesn't always win.
Sometimes, but if you make a mistake,
Kirk acts like this is the first time I've ever seen a race.
But if you make a mistake, you're probably not going to win at that level.
How many races you think I've seen in my life, Kurt?
A lot.
Right. I know the fastest car doesn't always win. I get it. All right. So we got Lee Spencer coming up next, right?
We do. She's over at Gateway this weekend covering the NASCAR events over there.
She was probably over at Tri-City last night.
She probably was.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Lee Spencer, Racing Boys Own, is going to join us right here on the show. She's going to talk about last night's action over at Tri-City, as well as what's going on over at Gateway. That and more right here on Track Talk, and it's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll be right back.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. A winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. I want to thank them for being a great supporter of the Racing Boys for, 12 years probably now. So Lucas Oil, great supporters of the Racing Boys all these years. They sponsored us during our Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour broadcast that we were out on the road. I don't think they were with us the first year, but I think we brought them on the second year, so that would have been about 12 years with the national tour. Now they're with us on Track Talk and Mostly Motorsports, and we want to thank them a lot for being a part of our show. Joining us down the show is Lee Spencer. How you doing, Lee? Oh, maybe I should punch her up. That usually helps when I punch them up a little bit. Hey, Lee, how you doing?
I'm great. How's it going?
It's going. Did you go to Tri-City last night?
I did not get there in time. The crowd was off the charts, so we went home and we balanced that between North Dakota and Tri-City and a little bit of Indiana, but not as much as the other two because we only have 2 screens.
Oh, yeah. So what is the buzz around Gateway? I know that's not the name of it now, right? It's another name, but I'm going to call it Gateway just because. What's the vibe around that racetrack today?
Well, it's just a lot of excitement, a lot of, community excitement. We're so close to the city that you really get the buzz going throughout the entire, metro area, not just Madison, Illinois, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's one thing that really makes it stand out. I mean, they couldn't believe the kind of attention they were getting from the local broadcast community because all the stations are within, 5 minutes of the racetrack. So It's a completely different opportunity, very similar to what we experienced at the LA Coliseum, where you're right in the middle of everything, right? And so very different dynamic here than there is at most racetracks.
Mm-hmm. What did they do about, because every time I went down there, the parking was the biggest issue. What have they done to improve the parking down there?
Well, they've added parking, they've paved parking, and so that's been something that they really worked on, especially because, we're in a floodplain here, so you've got to be really careful with it. But they laid a lot of cement that got different traffic patterns just to try to help people get in and out as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is kind of a unique race. There's no other racetrack like it. And we saw some great races over the years there in the Xfinity Series, Truck Series, put on some memorable shows over there. With this new race car, you saw a practice. They had a practice session yesterday. Penske had the top 3 times. I don't know what that means in practice yesterday. And some people were having some right rear tire issues on that racetrack. What are your views and what have you been hearing about what kind of a race we're going to see tomorrow?
Well, I think that's the biggest unknown, and I kind of touched on that, writing about it earlier. I mean, some people said that if you flattened Darlington, it would be like this. Some people say the turns resemble Martinsville. Some people say the turns resemble Phoenix. So I think there's a real hodgepodge going on here as far as the, putting the right combinations together to come up with what what it's going to be like. Now, the drivers all year long have complained about short track racing, and most of the drivers consider this a short trackish kind of place, even though it's 1.25 miles, which technically makes it an intermediate track. But with, braking and shifting and, they said that a lot of this race will likely be won or lost coming out of the pits and on the restarts. And that's what they're anticipating is where the they'll be able to gain the greatest ground.
Lee, we had Justin Haley on this week on the show, and he's had a pretty decent year. Some ups and downs along the way, but he's done pretty decent for that team without T.O. being the crew chief all the time. They've been penalized a couple different times for tires getting loose from them. But he said on our show, I think it was on Thursday, that he feels that there's going to be a lot of shifting that's going to go on at Gateway. How much do you think that's going to come into play, and do you think the transmissions you see these drivers, they mess up on the transmissions all the time because they're so used to the old style of transmission. Do you think that's going to come into play, that some guys are going to be hard on the transmissions during this race?
It absolutely is going to come into play, and these guys don't like it. They don't enjoy shifting.
Right.
So that's, a lot of them have complained about that. And so what I'm trying to work on this weekend is putting together, I'm hoping to talk to John Probst, who has been at the head of developing the new car, and get his take. There is going to be a test at Martinsville coming up on the off week. And so we're going to see what happens as far as that goes. It's a tire test. There was no fall off on the Martinsville test. I can send you an audio clip from Chase Elliott. He doesn't think it's as much as the tires. He thinks it's the package and the cold weather that we raced, the cold conditions that we raced at Martinsville. But, needless to say, with this new car, as wonderful as the racing's been on the intermediate tracks, it's been less than scintillating on short tracks, which has been NASCAR's bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's really where they need to work on it, and that's kind of the plan for this, for the short track test, is not just to get a new tire dialed in for that track, but to also work on the car. The rear, the underbody, the diffuser, those are going to be like some of the areas that they look at as far as what could, help create better racing on short tracks. Because, a lot of the guys are using this as a test at Phoenix, and every month there's something else that pops up that gives you some other idea as to what the car is going to be like, how the car is performing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with this being similar to Phoenix, they'll be able to put some stuff in their pockets for the finale. But I mean, as of now, with that test coming up, and then there's going to be a full field test coming up, then I think that, we're looking at a situation where it could be very fluid between now and November, trying to come up with the best possible package for this car.
Yeah, is there any way that they could limit them on the gear ratio or make a gear ratio rule for some of these racetracks so they don't have to shift these cars?
I'll ask about that. I'm not, that's probably a John question too. So
right.
I will, I'll check in on that and see, what we can find out, see if there's something that, he says along those lines that might be something that, helps improve the quality.
Right. I've got a question here from one of our listeners. It says that given that Chris Buescher is out because of COVID, does Lee know the COVID testing schedule that NASCAR is doing?
I don't, but I'm assuming that if somebody has symptoms, just like all the rest of us,
right,
they're tested and then they go from there. As soon as we get off the phone, I'm going to post a story. Talked to both Brad Keselowski and Zane Smith yesterday about how this deal came together, and it's really quite insightful. And, you know, it certainly speaks about, I would say, Brad's history as far as giving back and giving opportunity to young drivers in the sport, and he really feels like Zane earned this opportunity. Mm-hmm. As far as, you know, Buescher goes, you really hate with all the momentum that he has picked up, you know, over the last month, to have get sidelined like this. So, you know, when I first heard about it, I was kind of surprised, especially since I was hanging out with him on Saturday at Charlotte a week ago. You know, we were talking about raising chickens. You know, so I felt, you know, and he's been doing so well that you just kind of really hate that, you know, this happened right now. But on the other side of that, it gives Zane a great opportunity to jump in there and see what he can do.
Hey, Lee, you were at Charlotte Motor Speedway last Sunday night, and I got to tell you, I sat and watched every lap of that race. I couldn't put it down. That was the most event-filled, crazy World 600 I think we've ever seen. What was it like covering that event? You had your work cut out chronicling all of what happened in that race. You could write a single book on just what happened to Kyle Larson.
Oh, you could. And, I mean, just the fact that they were able to bounce back and recover the way they did, I thought was incredible. And they've been playing, you know, the pep talk that he got from Cliff Daniels all week long on Sirius, on Fox. I mean, it's been great to listen to. So I just, you know, I got a kick out of that because I was listening to it in real time, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I don't know. I think it's just amazing what he was able to do. And, you know, honestly, I was surprised they threw the caution for Buescher, especially given the fact that these teams don't have a lot of extra cars and pieces and parts in their arsenal. I mean, it's really been tough on them, and they're still struggling to get parts and pieces. But, you know, with what they're working with on the short track, if that means that they have to have less parts and pieces and have to worry about coming from the manufacturers to get them and to get moving in that direction, then I think that it's really, you know, be advantageous for them.
Have you ever seen Kyle Larson have more misfortune in one race than that race last week?
No, but it was 600 miles, right?
Right,
so,
yeah.
But, the pit crew let him down.
Yeah.
You know, I think he had his own issues getting in and out of the box. I mean, it was like one thing after the other. And, I'd much rather see them have those issues now than in November.
Yeah, no doubt.
That crazy ride that Chris Buescher had, that flip on the front straightaway, that was crazy the way that thing was wedged underneath that car and sent it flipping.
Let me ask you something about that, Lee. What was it, a drainage ditch, or was it the tire that caused him to flip? Because Kirk and I disagree on that. I think the drainage ditch had a little bit to do with it.
No, I think it was. You know, they said after the fact that it was the suspension pieces falling apart and getting caught in the grass and just sending them flipping. And so, I just think, you know, it was. Just basically a combination of errors that led to that. But my guess is that, you know, in the process of checking him out, and I mean, I'm only speculating, but I would guess that, you know, going through what he did and then probably having a follow-up and, you know, it would probably be routine right now just to be going through that.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I see that car dip down in the grass and then it start rolling. So I'm not gonna buy that the suspension pieces made that car flip. I think that there was a little dip in the grass, and when it did, it rolled down and it hit the door, and that's what caused it to flip. I'm going to stand by my
I'm going to stand my ground. I'd say that had nothing to do with it.
Well, I just watched it just now. Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
I might be wrong on this, but didn't they replace the grass with the football field turf at Charlotte?
They did put some turf down there, I do believe.
So I mean, that would take out all the.
It is turf. It's absolutely turf.
Yeah,
There's
so
no
I mean,
drainage ditches there.
then any imperfections in
All
the
right,
ground would.
we're looking at it right now. I just want you to take a look at that. And now when he rolls across the field and he gets down into the grass, watch his car dip. Dip right there.
Well, that's because there's a wheel underneath of it that's tethered to the race car.
The grass wasn't flat. I'm just going to...
I mean, you get a little hill in the car.
Are you with me, Todd?
When I saw it at home, and then I have it on DVD, I just rewound it and watched it, and
it dips.
It looks like it drops down. Now, I mean, I don't know what's underneath there. Like, they could have paved everything right. I mean, put that carpet right over the top of everything, but it did look to me like it dipped before it folded.
You can see it right, boom, right there.
I don't think there's any dip there. What do you think, Lee?
I do.
I don't have it. I'm not, going over it the way you guys are right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you saw how the suspension was broken and how the wheel was twisted, and I mean, I had to look at the Taylor Weimer wreck 3 times to figure out that she had gone over the tire of the 3 car, because I thought just looking at it real briefly, it just looked like she hit a chunk and went over. But then after looking at it again and again, then I realized that she had bumped wheels with the 3 car and went over.
Yeah, there's a big divot in the grass where he hit. You can see it. Todd just pointed it out to me there. So
okay,
all right.
Well,
anyway, that's just my opinion on it. But you know what? A nice job by Kyle Larson to rally back and get a 9th place.
Hey,
finish.
the only thing that Scott and I agree with is Kyle Larson hit the wall in that late model the other night and caused his own wreck the other night. We both agree with that. What
Did you see that, Lee?
I did not.
Yeah.
Well, no, Maybe I
he was leading the late model race the other.
It's been a crazy week here. You guys know what it's like when you guys have a home race. It gets nuts. But
no doubt.
I've got to go cover a press conference.
All right.
Are you guys? Or you guys have any other updates?
Nope. That's it. That's all we got. We'll let you go. So go take care of business. All right. See you later, Lee.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Lee Spencer joining us here
busy
on the show.
Busy day at Gateway.
Hey, I want to remind everybody that we do a show Monday through Friday called Mostly Motorsports. It's Austin O'Neill and myself doing the show.
1 minute.
And we'd love for you to tune in. We got people from all around the country. We got a lot of people from the East Coast, the West Coast. Our number 1 state is California. We get people from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York. So many different people. A guy ordered a T-shirt from Austin, from Florida the other day, by the way. So if you'd like to be a part of it, it starts at 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, racingboys.com. We're hopeful to be on TikTok before too much longer. So it's all good. We hope that you'll join us. For Kirk Elliott, for Todd Surprise, for Austin O'Neill, who did a good job last night up at I-80 Speedway, I'm Scott Traylor, and we want to say thanks to Blake back at Sports Radio 810 WHB for all the help. We're going to do
15.
it. We're going to do it all over for another hour. Watch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and racingboys.com. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works.
Hey, Kansas City, Steven St. John here. If
Good
you're
job,
looking
fellas.
for a place to stay
Hey, thanks,
on
Blake.
your staycation
Appreciate it.
getaway, there is
Y'all have a
space
great
to
weekend.
play
Hey, you
at
too.
the
You
Inn
too, my
at
man. Have a good
Meadowbrook.
week.
Enjoy the outdoor pool and hot tub overlooking Meadowbrook Lake.
It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
Cigarport.ca is your go-to online store for exclusive cigars produced from the best quality tobacco in the world.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and if you're not listening to the Racing Boys, then you've got some sort of head problems. You gotta listen to the Racing Boys. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Yeah. Not everybody believes in what I say. Steve says, Scott, you are so wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about.
About the there was no drain in the front stretch at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
How do you know that's what he's talking about, Kirk?
That's what he's talking about.
That's what we were talking about before the end of the
That's
last
when all the
hour.
comments started showing up.
Well, let me just tell you, take a good look at that video again. Let's roll that video again. I want everybody to see where that car dips.
Well,
I want it. Can you slow it down a little bit?
Yeah, we'll slow it down. But like I was telling Todd during the break, I mean, with it being athletic turf, any imperfection on a 3,500-pound car, and the turf is going to show throughout the car.
Right.
The car doesn't go from sliding sideways to just barrel roll. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to take a big force, and that tire when the car's.
I just want to roll the tape again.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove to everybody that the car dips down in the infield. Roll that back just a little bit. We're already past the point.
We got to go through the commercials. Hold on.
Oh, my gosh. We got a commercial. We got to
pull this up on YouTube.
Oh, how about that? Put a little ice in a bottle behind the fan. Now, hold on. Now, just keep a real good close. And I want, is this up on our screen?
Hold on.
It's getting ready to be.
I want it to be up on our screen so people can see the dip.
Is it this it?
No.
All right.
That's Chase Elliott we're looking at there. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
That should be
Now, I
coming
want
up.
you to tell me that car doesn't dip when it slides across the grass. And if you can prove to me it doesn't dip, then I'll buy into what you're saying.
We're trying to find that specific accident.
Hold on.
Okay.
There's a lot of wrecks at Charlotte Sunday night. So
there was.
We got to try to find that incident where Chris Buescher flipped his car in the
All right, here it goes. Now watch. Now, he's sliding across the pavement.
Daniel Suarez.
Sliding just right. Now watch the car dip right there. Did you see it hit a dip? Or do you think the tire folded up under it? Tell me, Austin.
Todd, back it up to quarter speed.
Quarter speed. We got to talk about this because I feel that there was a absolute. Back it up just a second. Now watch.
This is as slow as we can go.
This is as slow as we can go right here. Now, tell me, Austin, what do you see there? Did you see the tire fold up, or did you see a car dip? Come on.
I mean, I didn't see it move, but I mean...
Well, first of all, if you look at the left rear tire, look, watch when the right front comes into that, boom, it hits something down there and threw the car in the air.
The wheel that.
All right, well, you're not going to like what I'm going to say.
All right, I don't care.
Yeah, that was not a drain. Watch, so when Todd gets it back, when the right side of the car is shown, you don't see any. It's just black. You don't see the wheel. I mean, it's already laid down at that point. You see, it's just hollow.
So you think that right front wheel made it do that?
Yeah, Kirk, I have to agree
Absolutely.
with you.
All right.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Bandwagoning
I
here.
agree with you.
Right. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong once in a while. You don't always have to be right.
But I will say this. that incident with Kyle Larson in that late model race the other night, where I thought he broke something and caused him to go into the wall. You convinced me otherwise that he hit the front stretch wall that caused that incident. So I'm going to give you that.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is that to me it looked like it hit something and it broke that right front off.
Either way, that was pretty shocking the way that car flipped.
Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. Yeah. We're just talking about it, right? This is what we do on this show. We all have different opinions, and we're all entitled to our opinion. You know, speaking of opinions, right? That's what this is all about. We're not going to judge you because you judge us. This is all about your opinion, our opinion. And opinions are like buttholes, right? Everybody's got one. So I'm not worried about it. It's my opinion. It's Kirk's opinion. It's Austin's opinion. It's Todd's opinion. It doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. All right, now look here. Here's Kyle Larson going down the front straightaway. Boom, hits the wall. Boom, hits the wall again. That's what broke his car.
Yeah, no, I at first I thought he broke something on the car that caused him to go into the first turn, but you pointed out he clipped that wall on the front straightaway.
Then he hits it again.
Yeah.
And then something breaks.
And he was leading the race, too. I mean, I think he would have won that race had he not done that.
Yeah.
Well, Todd just rolled it back. I did the same thing Kyle did last year, but I didn't do it as gentle as he did. So I hit the wall right there. I hit it again, and then if you see the divot in the catch fence next to the scoreboard, I did that.
You did that down there?
I knocked the catch fence over a little
bit. At Tri-City?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little dip right there?
Yeah, so if you go back and when we're watching the replay of it, there's a dip right next to the scoreboard.
Mm.
Yeah, that caused that.
Hey, you know what was crazy? That we saw Talladega-style crashes and flips at Charlotte Motor Speed. I mean, that's crazy what we saw. Big wrecks, multiple cars going out at the same. That's what you'd see at Talladega. We saw that in Charlotte the other night. It's
you know
crazy.
what it looked like at the end of that race last week? It looked like an ARCA race.
Yeah, because there were 20 cars that finished the race.
I know it. It was terrible.
That was a crazy race. Normally, I don't watch from flag to flag of the Coca-Cola 600.
Me neither.
Because it gets so boring. But that was not a boring race the other night. I sat and watched all 5+ hours of that race. It was crazy.
Frog Hall says I'm right.
Okay. Well, I'm glad somebody agrees with you.
You're right.
Good for you, Frog.
There's no doubt that something in that infield caused that right front to come off. Or dig in or something. The cars just don't. If you're sliding on a smooth, flat pavement, what would cause your right front tire to just fold under like that without a dip?
Get ready to watch this video. We're gonna pull up here.
You got another angle?
Yep. Just give me 1 second.
So is this the somebody that sent you this?
Yeah. Thanks, Leroy.
It was Leroy.
Help me out over here.
All right, Leroy.
Of the incident with Chris Buescher at Charlotte.
All right, let's see it.
So
this is a different angle. Oh boy, we're gonna have to work for this one.
This is off one of the FS1 shows. Looks like Adam Alexander and Larry McReynolds there with Regan Smith.
All right, I'm looking at it going 17 right there.
It's kind of a grainy shot.
It is grainy.
We'll see if we see anything different.
It's been downloaded a few times.
Yeah, they're getting ready to zoom in. Just give them a second.
This is a shot we've not seen. I haven't seen it.
All right, so here he goes.
They'll come back and replay it again. Just give it one. There you go.
You're not going to change my mind.
Well, watch this. Yeah, watching the circle right from when he leaves the 99 car.
Okay, that's where the suspension.
You see the tire bouncing around in there?
Yeah, he's got some front end damage right there. I got it.
The wheel just moved.
Right.
There's where the wheel folds up under. It's tethered to the race car, by the way.
That's why, because it was tethered, I think.
Yeah.
I still think there was a little dip there. Nobody going to change my mind about it.
There it is. That's a better shot than the one we saw on television the other night.
I'm going to stand by what I say. Wrong or right. You know, I can be wrong once in a while. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You know, it's okay to be wrong once in a while.
Sure,
but I think,
all right.
But I still think I'm right.
Okay. Whatever.
And Frog agrees with me. He says, "You're right, Scott. Hang in there, big boy."
Good for you, Frog.
Yeah. So Frog is an experienced super speedway racer, as myself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, both you guys been behind the wheels of these cars. I haven't.
We've run 180 mile an hour.
Yeah, that's right. I've not done what you guys done. I'll admit that.
Right.
So, Hall of Fame Day at Knoxville today. Big ceremony at 12 noon.
Right.
Dyer Hudson.
Some of the big names getting in there. How about Tony Stewart, Johnny Gibson?
Yeah.
Who else is getting in?
We got Bob Fry going in, Eric Gordon, Terry Gray, Tim Green, Ralph Heinzelman Sr., Jack Cromer, Robin Miller, the great Robin Miller, who we unfortunately lost this past year, Walter T. Ross, Dennis Roth, and Melvin Slim Rutherford, along with Tony Stewart and Johnny Gibson, as you just mentioned. So we'll have Pat Sullivan and Dave Argerbright emceeing that event again today. So big doings in Knoxville, Hall of Fame Day.
You know, it's sad that Robin Miller isn't here.
Yeah. Boy, I miss him.
Gosh.
Miss him.
That's a bad deal. Darn it. And it's good to see Dennis Roth get in.
Yeah.
He's been a great supporter of sprint car racing for a long time, man. So congratulations to those guys getting in this year. That starts at 1 o'clock today, right? They're going to have the luncheon at noon.
Right.
And then the ceremony start at 1 o'clock. So if you're listening to the show right now, you still have time to get there if you want to go.
Right.
But I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of tickets available.
I don't think there was any tickets available. You just can't walk up to the door and get in, I think.
They weren't going to sell tickets at the door
no,
today, were they?
No.
Isn't that what he said yesterday?
Yeah, we're going to play that interview with Bob Baker here in a minute. Tickets were no walk-up tickets. There were still some tickets to purchase.
You know what? That was a good lead-in. Let's just set it up right now and play that, Bob.
Absolutely.
Let's
Bob Baker has done a great job with the Hall of Fame over the past many years, director of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Yesterday, we spoke with Bob Baker on Mostly Motorsports, and here is some of that conversation we had with Bob Baker.
Big weekend for you up there at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum.
It is, Scott. Thanks for having us on your program, and we're pretty excited. This will be our 32nd induction banquet for the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and as many people know, we have 12 inductees this year. Terry Gray's one of our inductees. Johnny Gibson, the announcer for the World of Outlaws, is going to be inducted, along with Tony Stewart. People are just really excited about this induction banquet that we've got. And I don't know if it's because we got 12 inductees or because of the inductees themselves, but everybody's looking forward to tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. So do you anticipate maybe a bigger crowd because you got somebody like Johnny Gibson and Tony Stewart going in there? Do you anticipate maybe a little bit bigger crowd than you've had in the past?
We do have a larger crowd. We have about 400 people that are going to be with us. We do still have a few tickets left. If somebody calls today, we can still get them in, but we will not have tickets at the door tomorrow. So if somebody's planning on driving up and joining us tomorrow at 12 o'clock, they should probably give the museum a call this afternoon and let us know they're making the trip up.
Yeah, well, it's got to be a great weekend, and unfortunately for me, it starts the ceremonies start at 1 o'clock?
Yes, we have a dinner at 12 noon that's catered by Rib Shack Restaurant and Great Caterers of Iowa.
Yeah.
And then the inductions actually start at 1 o'clock.
Hey, Bob, one inductee I forgot to mention earlier, Bob Fry going in. I mentioned all the other inductees that are going in, too. Are Dave Argerbright and Pat Sullivan still the MCs of this event?
Absolutely. You know, Pat Sullivan and Dave Argerbright are both inductees of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum.
Yep.
And they've inducted more people into our Hall of Fame, into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, than anybody else. And they split up duties. Each one of them takes 2 inductees at a time. So each Dave and Pat will have 6 inductees to work with tomorrow, tell their stories a little bit, then let the inductees get up and tell tell us what it's really like.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like going to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and I know we're talking about the induction tomorrow, but I really want to talk about some other things that's going on up there. We've been talking about it a lot right here on the show about the Ascot Park exhibit that's up there. Tell us how that's going right now, Bob.
It's going really well. It's called the Track Tribute to Ascot Speedway.
Yep.
And we've got 7 cars from Ascot, of course, one of the Speedway banks. 8 cars. We got 8 cars that raced at Ascot Speedway back in the day.
How cool.
Got Parnelli Jones Midget that he raced the Turkey Night Grand Prix in. We got the Tamale Wagon. We got Dean Thompson's race car. It's just an excellent exhibit with 3 videos and a ton of memorabilia, along with the race cars and then the cases next to the exhibit. So Bill Wright's done an excellent job putting everything together. The people that have visited us so far from California have said they think it's one of the best exhibits we've had so far, but they might be a little prejudiced.
Yeah, right. And you've got some merchandise that you're going to sell up there as well, right?
Right. We have the T-shirts, the Track Tribute to Ascot T-shirts, and then also the big, large posters commemorative of the exhibit so people can take them home and remember seeing all the cars that they wear on the T-shirts and having a poster. They'll have all those cars in the museum. They'll get to remember their visit to Knoxville and visiting the exhibit.
And one thing that we want to remind people about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is that it's open 7 days a week. So if you think that you can't go visit the Hall of Fame on a Sunday, you can because you're open.
Right. We're open year-round. We're only closed 4 days, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, and New Year's, and being open on Sunday from 12 to 5, and then on race days, we're open until the races are over every Saturday night. So Saturdays during the race season, we're there 8 in the morning, and then we close after the races are over that night. So we're usually there till 11 or 12 o'clock on Saturday night. So There's always somebody around.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the Truck Series race coming up there on June 18th. You've got tickets available for people that want to sit on the second floor of the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, absolutely. If somebody'd like to sit on the second floor, we have plenty of seats on the second floor available, which is nice because, number one, you don't have to climb any stairs. You can go right in the elevator up to the second floor. You can bring your own food and drink with you. There's never a line at the restrooms. It's very convenient. So if they're coming to the truck race, they think they'd like to sit in the air conditioning inside, just call up to the museum and have them ask for Bob.
Yep.
I'm the only Bob there, and we'll get them fixed up.
Yeah. Oh, and before we let you go, we've got to talk about this sprint car raffle that's going on. A brand new 2022 Triple X chassis with 410 motor in it. You're going to also be giving that away on Friday, December 16th. If you'd like to purchase some tickets for that, you can go to sprintcarraffle.com. Again, that's sprintcarraffle.com to have a chance to win this 410 sprint car from Triple X.
It is, and this will be the 14th sprint car we've given away, and we couldn't do it without the help of all the manufacturers. And as many of your fans and listeners know, race car parts and engine parts are hard to come by right now, so we're very, very fortunate to have this car and all the parts and pieces to give away. It's a race-ready 410 with a Moyle Racing engine, 410 cubic inch engine in it. And like you said, we do the drawing on Friday, December 16th, so weekend before Christmas. And we will have the car, at Knoxville at the Nationals, of course, at Eldora. We'll have it at the Kings Royal and at the National Open in Pennsylvania. We'll have it there. And it'll be at the PRI Trade Show in December and also at the Dome at the Gateway Nationals indoors there in December. So people have a lot of chances to purchase tickets, or they can get the tickets online if they'd like.
All right, that's Bob Baker from the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. You heard today at noon, the luncheon starts to take place, and then at 1 o'clock they're going to have the ceremonies, which is going to bring in a bunch of great people like Tony Stewart, Johnny Gibson, Robin Miller, Dennis Roth, and so many others. It's going to be a fun time up there. I wish I could make it, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, when we get off the air, takes me about 3.5 hours to get up there. By the time I would get up there, they would be 30 minutes into the ceremonies, and it's just not going to work out for me today. I wish I could make it up there. Don't you, Kurt?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You and I have been there to this event before.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is a great event.
We streamed it once there.
Yeah, we did.
We were the only time I was there
I
for
forgot
streaming.
it. We
You were
did.
there too,
I
right,
was
Todd?
there. That was my
Yeah.
only time. I mean, I've been to Knoxville 3 times, but I've only been on the hollowed grounds inside all the buildings. That one morning when we did track talk, and then waited about an hour or something, and set up for the. And that was the year, I believe, the people that are the hosts. He was inducted.
Dave Darling went in.
Dave Darling, and who's the other host?
Didn't Terry McCarl go in that same
Terry
time?
McCarl, Dave Darling, and then who's the guy that does the hosting?
Pat Sullivan.
Pat Sullivan.
He
Remember, all three of them.
Yeah,
were
We've
in that
had
year.
Pat on a couple times
That's
on
right.
Mostly Motorsports.
And he and Dave Argabright do a great job emceeing
They
this
sure do.
event. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to monitor that as we go.
Hey, do they still have those hot air balloons up there at that lake up there on the way to Knoxville? You know,
Indianola?
Yeah,
I think so. I believe they do.
If anybody knows out there, I'd like to know about that, because I'd like to get some photos of that bad boy. Well, that was one of the things I saw the sign, and I seen it's a big tourist. And I know it's pretty darn close there to Knoxville, and that's a pretty neat area right there.
Yeah.
The USAC Midwest Wingless Racing Association kicked off its season last night. They've had some rainouts and some cancellations, so they finally got it underway last night up at US 36 Raceway. They'll race tonight at Valley Speedway, by the way. Wesley Smith started on the pole and led.
How many cars? Did you figure it out?
They had 24 race cars.
That's
last
not
night.
bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty
good count.
Yeah, that's all you need, really. 24 cars.
So is Wesley Smith the winner, with Cody Baker finishing second. Braden Cromwell was third, Wyatt Burks fourth, and Xavier Doney rounded out the top five. And they had the 305 Race Saber, IMCA Race Saber sprint cars in action last night. They only had, it looks like 10 of those, only 10 race cars in the Race Saber sprint cars, and Mike Moore was the feature winner as he beat Jay Russell and Jacob Dye, I should say, up at US 36 Raceway last night.
All right. Well, what are you going to do tonight, Kirk? You going to go to a race?
I am driving to Iowa for my little niece's, grandniece, third birthday party today, so taking a big trip up to Iowa for that.
What'd you get for a present?
It was a little like a.
Do you know how to buy for little kids, Kurt?
Yeah, I do.
Lot of cash.
I'm not going to give it away, but I got a little gift.
You know what? The best thing, give them some money that they can put towards your graduation fund.
Normally I do that, but I actually bought a gift this time for little Jimmo.
So you cheaped out.
Hey, Kurt.
You bought a gift instead of giving them a lump.
Yeah, well, I gave him a lump. I gave him a lump at Christmas time. I gave him a lump.
I've been
at
hard
Christmas
on Kirk
time.
this morning, haven't I?
I'm getting ready too. Kirk, my birthday's coming up here in 12 days. Can I get a lump?
Can he get a lump?
Can I get the help? Please.
Yeah.
So what are you doing tonight?
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, most likely, I'm going to probably hang out with my daughter tonight. She does not. Her air conditioner went out, and as you know, we installed a brand new air conditioner in our studio this week, and the air conditioner that we had was only about 3 years old, but it was too small, and it wouldn't heat the entire building, right? So bought a new air conditioner. Now I'm going to give my 2 or 3 year old air conditioner that was too small. When I bought this house, the lady that had lived here like 40 years. And she lived here almost the entire time this house, when it was built, 1976. And anyway, she hadn't done a thing to this house. It was still 1970s all the way. Then right before we bought it, she got the garage doors fixed, and she put in a small little air conditioner. It was a 3-ton, and it just wasn't big enough to cool this place. And long story short, my neighbors, Joe Ludwig next door and his friend, they put in air conditioners, and they come over, put it in at a great price, and it's been working great ever since. And they fixed our vent down here so it won't be so cold down here sometimes.
Yeah, because
it gets cold down here sometimes, doesn't it?
Last year, while you were gone quite a bit of the summer, I spent quite a bit of time right here in the studio watching races on Friday and Saturday night. It would get cool down here. I'd walk upstairs, it was hot.
Right.
Yeah, you need to wear a jacket sometimes.
So
over here.
if you even that out now, that's a good thing.
Hey, I'm looking for somebody. I don't know if anybody's interested in doing this, but we are looking for somebody to put a wood floor down here in this studio. If you would like to trade out some advertisement, we are looking for somebody to put in a wood floor here in this studio.
You just put this new carpet in here a couple years
That's
ago.
all right. I'm ripping it out. I'm going to put a wood floor in here so we can do some different things that we've seen with other studios that we like, and we're going to kind of take a page out of their book, and I think it would look really good. Don't you think, Austin?
Yeah, I think it.
I mean, we got some good ideas for this studio, don't we, buddy?
Yeah, we'll see what comes about it. So Travis had a comment about the state fair for this year.
What about it?
If they had any half mile racing, and so August 21st they're going to have POWRi Fortune Sprint cars, B mods, and Show Me Vintage cars at the fair.
That's at the last day of the fair, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
August 21st, you say?
Yes.
That is the last
day. And then
day
they'll have, your tractor pulls and motocross stuff, but the only race on the half mile is August 21st.
Who's running that? Who's promoting the races at the fair now? I don't even know. Who's putting those races
is it
on?
the same two guys that were promoting it before? Remember, they weren't real happy with me. I had the promoters on down there, the last promoters that promoted the races down there, and I had them on the day of the race, and we did a nice long segment with them, really talked it up, did a really good job, I thought. And so I go down there to the racetrack, and the promoter comes up, and he bitches at me because I had him on during the internet section, not the radio section. And just and I said, "Are you kidding me? I had you on the show this morning to promote your event, and you're bitching about it."
Wow.
And I wasn't all too happy about it. So I haven't been a big supporter of those guys since then.
There was a situation where they was that a late cancellation of the Lucas Oil ASCS event that was supposed to be, or what was that? That a couple of years ago we were supposed to have a Lucas Oil ASCS event down there, and something got pulled on. I can't even remember the circumstances.
I don't remember.
But anyway,
rained out. Maybe.
We love the historic half mile at the Missouri State Fair, so we'd like to see more races on that racetrack. I love that.
Hey,
place.
Marvin from Ohio, thanks for tuning in, buddy. We appreciate you.
Did you see what the pay breakdown is, this $1 million race at Eldora?
Run it down for me, Kurt. Yeah.
Okay, Wednesday night, $1 million to win. They've had one of these before, you remember, back in 2001, where Donnie Moran, they call him the $1 million man, Donnie Moran.
Right.
He won a $1 million to win race.
This is the first time since then?
First time since then.
Wow. Since 2001.
Right.
Wow.
The total posted awards for this race on Wednesday night is $1,342,185.
Hold on. Let me write that down, Kurt. Tell me that again.
Total posted payout
$1,342,185. $185.
Right. Now, to win, it's $1,022,022.
Why?
I'm not sure where they come up. Maybe it's because the year 2022.
Oh, that's possible.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Second place pays $100,000. $50,000 for third, $25,000 for fourth, $15,000 for fifth, and then it scales down from there to start the race. $5,622 to start.
Hold on. $5,602 to start.
$622 to start.
$622 to start.
No, actually, I take that back. That was for 18th. It's $5,022. $5,024. $5,022 for 24th place. So you get $5,000 just to start the race. But $1 million and 22 to win on Wednesday night. That's going to be interesting to watch how that all plays out.
For that kind of money, some feelings are going to get hurt.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting for it, right? They're going to be fighting for it.
Listen, I'm running second, and I can put my bumper to a guy on the last lap to win $1 million. What do, Austin? You rub him out of the way?
Not even a question.
You got to
I'm driving through your bumper as hard as I could.
Right. That's $1 million.
I'm stuffing you through the fence.
I'm gonna hook you.
Now, leading up to that, on Tuesday night, they have a full program including $12,000 to win twin 25-lap features. Two 25-lap features, each paying $12,000 to win, and that helps set up the field for Wednesday night's big event. And then Friday and Saturday is the Late Model Dream, the annual race that pays, this year it's going to pay $128,000 to win on Saturday night. Brandon Overton won both dreams that they had. They had two dreams last year to make up for the one they didn't have during 2020 in the pandemic year. Brandon Overton not only won both late model dreams last year, but he also won one of the World 600 races in September. So he would be a favorite to win that, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, no doubt. All right, we got a couple more sound bites that we're going to play here real quick. We're going to do this Justin Haley right now, right? All right, so we had Justin Haley on. His crew chief was originally my crew chief. The first time he ever crew chief for anybody was for Scott Trailer Motorsports.
Trent Owens, yep.
Trent Owens. And he is now a Cup crew chief. It has a lot of success. Unfortunately for Trent, they've had 2 tire issues this year, and he's been suspended now twice for 4 races. I hate it for him.
When does he get to come back?
I'm not sure when he's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
But not good. He lost one on pit road and lost one out on the racetrack. So 2 suspensions for a loss of tire. So a bad deal for T.O., but Justin Haley is his driver, and this is a conversation I had with him on Mostly Motorsports this week. Just talk about last weekend, the motor failure last weekend. That was kind of a bummer, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've been struggling here lately. We've had some speed, but definitely had some growing pains over at College Racing. But some weeks we will have that, and then some weeks we run really well. So definitely been up and down. But you kind of see that, as you know, in a newer organization. Obviously, the Cup Series is extremely difficult to compete in. So just trying to figure out what works for us and going forward, how to be better each and every week.
But, man, you've really had some good runs this year. I mean, there's some positive stuff that's going on with the team as well. I know you started third at the Busch Light Clash. I know the finish wasn't what you were wanting, but you've had some pretty good runs this year, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like I said, it's growing pains. It's not going to be good every week, and fortunately, all of our great partners and Matt Colley have given us the tools that we need to succeed. Just trying to figure out what works and what putting each puzzle piece into the right place to be successful requires. So yeah, we've had good speed here and there. Just trying to get that every week, which is the impossible task. So
right.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I mean, it's a big step coming up from Xfinity, having a brand new team, obviously going to all these tracks for the first time with a next-gen car. It's been tough, but it's been fun nonetheless.
Man, what a great run. You started 29th at Darlington. You ended up running third. Take us through that race. That had to be the highlight of the season so far, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we'd just come off a great run at Dover where we led laps and finished I think 11th. So
yeah, it was 11th.
Mean, we qualified 29th, and I was like, man, this is probably the worst car you've given me all year. And he said, just stick with it, and that's what we did all day. And it was an opportunity races. With these new cars, there's seems to be a little more issues than perhaps the last car, but it's just issues that we don't know about yet. So just trying to figure it out and get comfortable, and then also just racing our own race has been the biggest thing. These Cup races are so long that just trying to
right,
get clean pit stops and figure everything out. It's been tough. So it was a good day for sure. It was one of those days where it was like, hey, we finished third, and then it was like, all right, well, where do we go next week? So it keeps you humble.
Yeah. What has been the most difficult thing for you with the new car, adjusting as a driver, from going from the older cars, to the new car? What has been the biggest adjustment for you as a driver with the 31 car?
Well, the biggest thing is these cars, they just drive differently. They drive more like a truck. They're super aero sensitive racing, and they just kind of give you habits that maybe you haven't had in other racing cars before. So just trying to figure out how to make speed in the next-gen car has been tough because you can't add any tape on the grill, right? So we practice and then we qualify. But, mostly when you pick up speed in qualifying, it's because you tape it off, cool it down, jack the air pressures up, and go. Right. And now it's like, hey, well, that's exactly what you had. So you have to find it in yourself to go out there and get more speed out of the race car, because the race car is at its maximum already. So I think that's been the biggest thing. And then also just running the car hard every lap. I mean, it has a lot of grip until it doesn't. So just trying to find that limit of where we can be on balance to be the fastest.
We're visiting with Cup driver Justin Haley. He's joining us here on Mostly Motorsports, all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. I got to ask you, do you feel that the car, the corners of the car, the wheels, when you make contact with some, do you feel like they're a little more fragile than maybe the cars of the past?
Fortunately, all my wrecks have just been big wrecks, so they were done anyway.
Yeah.
I haven't made slight contact yet, so they seem to hold up fine. Obviously, like I just said, it's a new car, and there's stuff that might fail that we've never even heard of before. So car-wise, it's almost too complicated for me. They are highly sophisticated machines that drive extremely well, and that's about all we do anymore is drive. I was super big into it, running Xfinity or even the Cup car the past few years of knowing what springs and shocks and setups we had in the thing, and now it's ride height adjustments and things like that. So, it's kind of taken the. I don't even want to know what's in the car. I just want to drive it at this point.
Right.
And, definitely different.
There he is, Justin Haley, who's going to be in the race at Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday. And the Xfinity Series, by the way, out at Portland, on the road course out there. And I guess they got a lot of rain out there. They're going to be using those windshield wipers out at Portland this afternoon. So we'll watch that. The Truck Series at 12:30 today at Gateway. So there you go. Hey, I need to make one correction on the Eldora Million.
You mean you were wrong?
I was wrong.
All right.
The race is actually on Thursday, not Wednesday of next week. Thursday, June 9th, with the preliminary on Wednesday night.
So gosh, you mislead people all the time, Kurt.
I know it.
Gosh.
I know it.
What's going on with you?
I screwed up.
That's all right.
We make corrections. Earlier. We make corrections here. We got to get it right.
Some people think I screwed up a little bit ago.
$1 million race on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Big weekend at Eldora next weekend.
Right. We got one more soundbite too from this week.
The Postman. He's going to be over at St. Louis this weekend as well. He's been covering a lot of races. He was at Port Royal last weekend for the Weikert Classic. Man, what great racing that is. We've talked many times, Port Royal Speedway, what a great half-mile racetrack that is, the way they're prepping that racetrack up there, and Anthony Macri certainly knows his way around as he held off Lance DeWeese on Friday night and a little more dominant on Saturday night up there. Steve Post of Motor Racing Network was there, also the host of Wing Nation. And Scott Traylor, as per usual on Wednesday, spoke with Steve Post, and here's a portion of that weekly conversation here from just a couple of days ago.
You were at Port Royal last weekend, right, Steve?
Yeah, what a weekend up there. Wow, Scott, what a weekend.
Yeah. Kind of give us a rundown of everything that you saw up there last weekend.
Yeah. Well, Todd Weichert, the son of one of the sons, Todd Weichert, a couple of the boys of Bob Weichert, the legendary team owner, they have had a vision for the Weichert Memorial on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Port Royal sits here, and the racing and everything is good. And in September they have the Tuscarora 50, which is their big one. And the goal that Todd Weichert has worked with the racetrack is to build up a big spring weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know that it'll ever be the Tuscarora 50, but that's their goal with it. Well, they've been elbows up on this thing for 7 or 8 years now, and in complete honesty, they have never caught a break. There have been times where one night has been rained out. There have been times where 2 nights have been rained out. There's been times the rain date has been rained out. The third night has been rained out as well. So then we had a year with COVID where things were limited and we weren't able to do much up there. So they've had this vision of an entire weekend, camping, tailgate contests, cornhole tournaments. They bring up Wing Nation. We do live shows up there. And they've had this vision of this 2-day weekend. And to their credit, with all of the bad weather and COVID and everything, they have just kept their head down and kept focus on it. Well, Scott, we finally had good weather, and what a weekend. The place was full of people. Just a spectacular crowd, a lot of energy, big buzz, a lot of vibe. And then the racing on the racetrack. I think we had mid-40s All-Star Circuit of Champions plus the Pennsylvania Posse. I think it was like 41 and 44 cars, respectively. And the Saturday night feature, Saturday-Sunday deal, the Saturday night feature, Anthony Macri took it off from Lance Deweese in the final corner. Yeah. And just insane, great race. The whole race was great. A lot of mixing it up. Port Royal race is so good when that track is right. And Macri and Lance Deweese, they had a caution with 4 to go. And they just had a throwdown for 4 laps. So, the young kid, Anthony Macri, got the win on Saturday night, a $10,000 win. And then on Sunday, Macri got the win again. It was much easier. He took the lead like on lap 10 and, won it rather handily. A lot of good racing back in the pack, but nothing up front. And he won $29,000 for that one. So a $39,000 weekend for Anthony Macri. And we all talked as we were hanging out afterwards, having a beer. I think everyone feels like all of the work that we put in this thing for the 7 or 8 years, we finally see that when the weather cooperates, we've got something here, because there was a whole bunch of people camping and having a good time at Port Royal. It was a fun weekend, that's for sure.
I think the biggest news of the week for us here on Mostly Motorsports is the damage that was done to Houston Speedway up there, the tornado that went through there and ripped up that racetrack. But the word came out today that they're still going to have their World of Outlaw race on Sunday. That's pretty good news, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. We had Doug Johnson on Wing Nation yesterday. Doug's the general manager up there and just one of the really good guys in the sport. And we had him on. And what happened is that they raced on Sunday and were supposed to race on Monday night. The NOSA Sprints, which is a Northern Outlaw Sprint Association, a 410 series up there. The Houston's in North, if there is such a thing. And they were supposed to race 2 nights. And like Doug, I think, told us he left the track at 1:30 in the morning and got home and got a call about 3:30 that and started to get some video of what they believe. And the National Weather Service was going to be there yesterday to determine officially if it was a tornado. I mean, for God's sakes, it looked like a tornado. And what happened is that thing hit the tower, hit the press or the suites, and it took the roof and carried the roof down through the home stretch fence and put the roof down in the infield.
Yeah, we saw that.
And so that's why all the debris was in the infield. That was the roof of the suites. The good news is that you think about that. There were some people camping there. Nobody was hurt. They were far enough away. But God forbid if that thing hits 4 or 5 hours earlier.
Oh boy!
There would have been even if they were under a rain delay, there would have been people milling around.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So Doug told us yesterday that they had planned the World of Outlaws was planning on happening, and that they felt really good about it. And today the formal announcement came, as you just mentioned. But they're going to do it without that row of suites. They've got to build a new control. The biggest thing up there, they had suites, so they're going to move sponsors around. And then the biggest thing is the control tower. Scoring and timing is up there, and so I think they're building something new for that. Now, he did say what was interesting was, while we saw pictures of the front stretch wall and speakers and everything, they fired up the sound system, and the sound system still works.
Oh,
and
crazy!
So, which is one less hassle that they've had to deal with this week. But my gosh, when I saw those pictures on Monday morning, I couldn't believe it, Scott. I just couldn't believe it. But the good news is no one got hurt.
That is the good news. Nobody got hurt up there at Huset's. That it really tore the hell out of that racetrack. The top suites, the roof blew off of it. Do we have some of those pictures still? Austin, can we pull those up a little bit?
Man, that's crazy. You were just watching those races on video just hours before that happened.
I know it.
Crazy.
It's lucky everybody was out of there.
Yeah.
By the time that tornado.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Jake Buback was staying in his RV in the RV camping, and somehow he was he escaped with no damage. But I mean, how would you like to be a Buback sitting there in your RV?
In an RV,
you know.
Well, Kirk and I did that once, didn't we, Kirk?
Yeah, I mean that is pretty wild stuff up there.
That was pretty nerve-wracking when what year was that we did that down at
2008, something like that. We survived 2 tornadoes in one day. One in Wheatland and the other one around Clinton.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you were following me.
You had all you can handle, even just with the wind, with that bounder. You were really wrestling that thing up the road.
Well, that bounder wasn't very big. If you remember, it was a short little motorhome.
Yeah.
And that thing was getting blown all over the place.
But we were sitting in that thing in the middle of the afternoon.
Probably not the smart.
When that bad storm come rolling through.
Yeah.
And
leaving that day probably wasn't the smartest thing I ever did.
It was in the back side of the pit area.
Yeah.
Is where we were sitting in that thing.
Right.
And that was one whale of a storm we survived.
There's some pictures from Huset's.
My goodness.
Wow. That's crazy.
Well, you know what? One good thing that Huset's has going for it, to be honest with you, Todd Quiring.
Yeah, he'll get that thing fixed
because he has the money. If this was to happen to somebody that just had an average racetrack and didn't have a boatload of cash,
they couldn't even have all the money.
There's no way they could have that place open by
the
Sunday.
Insurance to, get the insurance money to cover all the repairs.
But I got to believe that Todd Quiring. I got to believe that Todd Quiring has got enough money to at least stabilize everything, get everything back in working order, get those poles back up, get that fence straightened back up.
They've had to work 24/7 since the storm on Monday, so they could stage a World of Outlaw event tomorrow night. I mean, that's crazy.
I've thought about going up there.
Now they're going to have the other big event late June because it's a 3-day event at Houston Speedway, and of course they've got the USAC coming in July. A lot of big events up there, so it's going to take some time to get this thing back to where it was before. But for them to get it to where they could stage an event tomorrow night, that's pretty miraculous. I didn't think they'd be able to pull that off.
No, me neither. There's no way I would have thought they'd pull that off. Now, they got a lot more than that going on up there as well, Kirk. They've got a lot of events that are going to be taking place up there.
Yep.
And the World of Outlaws, don't they go back there here pretty soon?
3 nights in late June.
Yeah. Here, schedule.
So then that big USAC event coming up in July.
Right. Yeah. So, World of Outlaws, Huset High Banks Nationals, that's going to take place on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of June. Do you think they'll have those suites done up there by then?
They're going to try. Yeah. I wouldn't bet against them.
I would not bet against Todd Quiring on that. I would definitely not. And then, after that, on July 8th, 9th, and 10th, they've got the USAC Nationals going to be taking place up there. So they've got some really big races coming up. They got the Lucas Oil Late Models that are going to be running up there on July 19th. So that's another big event for them.
This is similar to that, when that big storm hit Lucas Oil Speedway in 2019, right like a day before the Show Me 100 was supposed to begin.
I don't
They
know
had to call the whole event off. They never even
Right.
staged a Show Me 100 event due to that storm in 2019.
No doubt. Well, they got some big races coming up, so hopefully they can get it all back in order and get up in working condition. But I got a feeling, again, Todd Quering got deep pockets.
Yeah.
He'll be able to get this all done in a timely fashion. I don't think it's going to take him as long as it would some people. Do you agree with that?
I don't either. I remember one other racetrack that got hit by a bad storm. I forget how long ago it was. I-80 Speedway got hit by a tornado one time.
I forgot about that.
Caused quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, I did forget about that. What year was that, Kirk?
I can't remember. It's been quite a while ago. It's been 15 years ago at least. Maybe 20.
Austin, you're going to be racing down at Double X Speedway this weekend, right?
That is the plan.
Everything came back in one piece, so why not, right?
Yeah, well, looking at the weather earlier this week, it was not looking good for Sunday night, but they've kind of taken the rain chances out, and yeah, so I get to go from one extreme to fast half miles.
The biggest, fastest half mile to the littlest, smallest little racetrack.
And you were there last Sunday night, right? For the tribute to Jesse?
We were, and we totally, I mean, not totally. We had a good night early on, and then we just kind of missed the setup, for the feature. And
So
it's a product of not racing at Double X and not knowing how that place transitions throughout the night. So with that in our notebook, and then with the adjustments we made, going into I-80, we had help from Chalkstick with new torsion bars and Sure-Built suspensions.
Oh, how'd those bars feel?
Great.
Did they feel a lot better?
It felt good, and then when you put new factory Kane Sure-Built suspension shocks on it makes it feel even better.
So you changed shocks too?
Uh-huh. So we had a whole new program, and it should. I mean, you can take a little bit between the half mile and the quarter mile, but we kind of know where we need to be and what adjustments to make. So see if we can apply our knowledge.
Do you build your own shocks?
Nope.
No?
Mike sure does it all for me. Call him, tell him what I want. It'll be done in a couple days.
Yeah, Sure-Built.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big science of its own, the shocks.
So does Sure-Built work in conjunction with Kane?
He's exclusively on their product.
Ah.
He's only supplied all their products, all their bodies and all their internals.
Wow, how about that? Casey Kane started up to the front last night, but he got some nose wing damage, and he kind of faded back a little bit. Did you see that?
I saw that. That nose wing came apart pretty early in the race, did it not?
It did.
But he had a great start. Looked like he was going to be poised for a great finish last
For a
night.
minute, it looked like he was going to do a podium finish to me. I thought he had a chance, but he ended up running 8th. He started 3rd. Did you know that Casey Kane has never won a World of Outlaw race?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
It is. When I saw that last night, when they put that up, I couldn't believe it.
And they got him listed as a rookie on the World of Outlaws series.
Well, he's a rookie as in not running the tour.
Yeah.
Well, he's never ran the full season, has he? Right.
I mean, it's like calling Jason Martin a rookie with the Nationals.
Yeah, right.
Right. He's no rookie. Yeah. I don't know. Is that fair to call a guy a rookie that's been racing with the World of Outlaws for 20 years?
I mean, if I have no problem with.
Shouldn't there be a number of races?
I believe with USAC, I know this is USAC compared to the Outlaws, but I know if you run a certain amount of races with USAC, you'll lose your rookie status in a year. So, I mean, the Outlaw Tour is just, it's a tough deal, and it's prestigious to bring home the Kevin Goprick Rookie of the Year award. And, I mean, yes, you might be racing, years past with them or in different series, but I think everybody has the right to have their rookie year on it, have the rookie year on the tour and see what their first year is like and see if they can win the award.
I think if you run more than 10 races, you're not a rookie anymore. 10 races in 1 year.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, a rookie when you see one. Casey Kane is not a rookie.
No, he's not a rookie.
A couple of other races we haven't talked about. Danny Dietrich won the weekly 410 event at Williams Grove Speedway last night. He outran Anthony Macri with Brent Marks finishing third, Freddie Raymer fourth, and Kyle Moody rounding out the top five. And Buddy Kofoid did it again. It's Indiana Midget Week. They were at Bloomington Speedway last night. And Buddy picked up the feature winner, his second night in a row in the USAC Midget after winning at Tri-City Speedway on Thursday night. They are going to be at Tri-State Speedway tonight for Indiana Midget Week.
Chase Crum runs second. Kyle Combs was third, and Kaylee Bryson was fourth, and Justin Grant was fifth last night. Those are your top five.
Chance Crum led a little bit of that race last night, too.
Mm-hmm.
So he did pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pretty good show today, folks. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of it. You got any? So you're going up to your niece's tonight, right?
Yes, I am. So driving right up in the middle of Iowa.
Eric said, good luck this weekend, Austin. Thanks for coming up to I-80.
See you July 20th.
You going back up?
Yeah, I'll be up the Wednesday night of the Silver Dollar Nationals.
That track kind of suited your style, didn't it, a little bit?
Well, I just need more laps on a half mile anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was fun. I mean, you get to go race at a good track, and, you know, it's not that far. They pay pretty good, and you come most likely break even most of the times. But
there's a little pucker factor at that racetrack, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it separates the men from the boys.
Right.
You know?
That's what you like to do.
Yeah. Everybody likes it.
Test yourself against
if
the
it was
best.
easy, everybody would do it, right?
Right. I used to say that all the time.
Well, good luck down at you're going from one extreme to the other with I-80, and then tomorrow night down at Double X.
I got a feeling tomorrow night you're going to have a good run down there.
If I remember to turn the wheel, we'll be all right.
Remember to turn the wheel?
Why are you so hard on yourself?
No, it's in a joke of half mile racing. You don't move your hands.
Right. You got you're going to have to put some wheel in.
I can't just
let it ease into the corner.
It's totally different, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show today and all the hard work that Austin and Todd do, and Blake back at Sports Radio 810 WHB, my partner Kirk Elliott. Don't forget, we're going to be doing Mostly Motorsports Monday through Friday. Starts at 12 noon Central Time. We have a lot of great guests on there. You've heard some of them that we play during the week here on Track Talk, but tune in. It's a great show. We have people from all around the country listening to that show, and we are so blessed to have the people that are it's so weird how many people from around the country listen to that show. It's kind of a national show. And we talk a little bit about our local tracks, and we give them some exposure to some of the people that are out there around the nation that aren't familiar with places like US 36, Lakeside, I-70, whatever racetrack that we talk about around here. I think it's a great mix of being able to give our regional tracks some exposures to some of the national people that listen to our show. So we hope that you'll tune in again Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. We do it right here in this studio. It's Austin O'Neill and myself, and Kirk Elliott kind of hangs out with us, but he's not on the air with us during the week, are you, Kirk? Except for Fridays. Fridays you're in with us. Yeah. One day a week we get Kirk Elliott.
And I gotta make one more clarification.
What did you screw up now?
USAC midgets are at Lawrenceburg tonight.
What'd you say?
I think I said Tri-State. Actually, they're at Lawrenceburg Speedway tonight. So
you're slipping, bud.
I know it. Lawrenceburg's a pretty cool racetrack. That World Outlaw race they had on Monday night, that was a great show, wasn't it?
About time for you to retire, isn't it?
It is. It's coming.
That will not be fun.
That
will not be a fun day. The first day I've got to do Track Talk without Kirk Elliott. I'm just going to say that would be one of the saddest days of my life.
Austin O'Neill to step in.
I don't care. It's still not going to be Kirk Elliott. It'd be one of the saddest days of my life when you're gone, Kirk.
Well, I'll be around. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Hopefully you'll live closer to Kansas City than further away. That's what maybe we can get you to move to Kearney.
That's a great town.
Hey, Austin, we need to find a place in Kearney for Kirk Elliott so we can keep him around. Will you help me with that a little bit? Try to find him an apartment up there or something?
Oh, I mean, don't go to the east side of Kearney.
Why?
Somebody got shot there a couple years ago.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but I wouldn't.
You can get shot in any little town, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter where you live.
People get shot in the city I live in now.
Oh, they get shot. They get shot in the city you live in more than any other city in Kansas City.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm still alive though.
You're still kicking. All right. I appreciate you, Kirk. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For Austin, for Todd, for my partner Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor. We'll see you Monday, 12 noon Central Time. It's Mostly Motorsports with Austin O'Neill and myself. We hope that you'll join us. And if not, we'll see you next Saturday right here on Track Talk.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.